Hi cuties, my name is Hanako Kozumi and this is the channel Nerdy Nekoma. Everything here is about Haikyuu chat stories and fanfic. Thanks for joining us today. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. And with that, welcome to today's video, and truly the final part of Dark Intentions. This is the end of the series, which, as always when I end a series that I really liked, makes me kinda emotional, but I'm still happy that we arrived at this point, and I know that y'all might have been waiting for this happy end, which I promise you'll get today, so let's start with that. I hope you enjoy, and please remember the content warnings. The moment the hope for backup vanished and the horror seeped into their systems was the polar opposite to what it was supposed to be. Ito didn't run against their door blindly, trying to smash it open. Instead of being loud and screaming like a madman, everything was awfully quiet. Only a silent clicking echoed from the lock of their apartment door as he cracked it open as if he had done this a million times before. It sent shivers down their spines, and a tiny part of Iwaizumi's brain wondered if he had been in here before. Either way, one thing was for certain: Oikawa was right, they would move out. The trainer and officer watched the door as they waited for the relieving sound of sirens in the distance, but it never came. Instead, a final click echoed through the hallway and the handle moved. Daichi and Iwa hid on either side of the entrance to the living room. With terror in their eyes, Iwa observed Ito as he ignored the kitchen, bath, and living room completely. His eyes were fixated on the bedroom door. He knows. He knows where everything is. He was here before. Next to the absolute shock coursing through his system, a deep rage started building up inside him, amplified as he saw the bloody knife in his hand, the same one he used to stab Suga. How dare he? He looked at Daichi, who gave him a short nod. As soon as he passed them, they jumped into the hallway and attacked first. Oikawa flinched as he heard the noise deriving from the hallway. He couldn't exactly understand what was going on, just that he must be here, and that they were fighting. That his boyfriends were in danger, and that he was forced to stay here. Toru. This sound sent his heart racing, so focused had he been on the fight. What is going on? Nothing. Everything will be alright. He pressed his lips together, unable to say much more, and well aware that Suga didn't believe him anyway. Toru? It wasn't a curse. What? That caught him off guard. He had expected that Suga would insist to tell him what was going on, not this. It wasn't a curse. What do you mean? He absent-mindedly stroked Suga's arm and back. Everything that happened. His voice trembled. It wasn't a curse. It was him. All of it. It was all his fault. Oikawa froze. He was delivering the package and rang the doorbell when he fainted. The criminal that shot Daichi was paid by him to be there. He gave him the weapon. He was even at the hospital afterward, and the words got stuck in his throat. He couldn't say them. Oikawa, on the other hand, didn't even notice that he had stopped. Burning hot anger ran through his veins as if someone had replaced his blood with magma. All their suffering, all their pain and worry, all of it was his fault. He couldn't stay still anymore. With a frightening calmness, cold as an icy lake in winter, in his movements and eyes, he got up. Kawa? Stay here, Koshi. I'll be right back. He gave him a smile that was meant to be soft and reassuring, but it failed to hit the mark by far. With slowly accelerating steps, he got out of the room and down the hallway. He didn't falter at the scene in front of him. Daichi laying on the ground trying to catch his breath, and Iwaizumi fighting Ito's grip around his neck, the bloody knife long forgotten somewhere on the ground. It only fueled his rage. He lunged at him the first chance he got, taking him by surprise and hitting him straight in the face. If he wasn't mistaken, he could still see the remaining traces of still healing bruises on his jaw and a particularly dark one at the soft spot of his neck, reminding him to send a thank you card to Hinata and Kenma. Utter satisfaction coursed through him as he aimed for and hit the same spot again. The man lost his balance, and Iwaizumi used the chance to pin him to the ground with Oikawa's help, who placed his knee rather roughly at the small of his back. They would hold him there until the police arrived. Daichi, are you alright? Oikawa's head snapped around. He had almost forgotten that he was hurt. Yeah, it's fine. Hurts just a bit. What happened? He hit him, right where he was shot. Oikawa's jaw clenched, and he subconsciously added more pressure to his hold. I'm fine, really. The stitch has healed, and all. It just still hurts when someone punches it. He chuckled darkly. Iwa nodded slowly. It distracted me enough for him to get an advantage. I'm sorry. They casually ignored Ito's attempts to get back up, and the occasional insults thrown their way. What caught their attention, however, was the sound of hesitant footsteps as Suga suddenly appeared in the doorframe to their bedroom.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.
Koshi. His eyes widened at the sight, but he didn't back away. Instead, he limped toward them, one hand at the wall for support. Oikawa would have loved to break every bone in Ito's body at the clear display of what he had done. But there was one thing about the whole situation that gave him hope. Suga didn't back down in the slightest. He didn't say anything either, even though Ito would have deserved every insult thrown his way. But his silence wasn't a sign of submission. He held his head high and just observed. Koshi. He got up with a bit of effort and put an arm around Suga to support him. You are not supposed to get up yet. You neither, from what it looks like. He smiled slightly. It was shaky and didn't last long, but it was real. Let's sit down on the couch. He led Daichi past the trapped Ito as if he wasn't there, as if this all did nothing to him, making a point of how little he cared. Showing off that he wouldn't let Ito get to him, that other than his physical injuries, he would get out of this unaffected. He would heal and leave him behind before it was even over. Oikawa couldn't help but admire his strength. Whatever they did, it was nothing in comparison. Koshi! Suga didn't even flinch, but Oikawa could see the way his fingers wrapped tight around Daichi's arm. Yes, this was partially a show, but the fact that he could pull it off just spoke for his bravery. Soon they could hear the sirens as the police and another ambulance arrived, just in case. They knew now what Ito was capable of, and wouldn't take the risk of coming unprepared. Oikawa was grateful when they finally had him in handcuffs and escorted the man out of the building. He immediately rushed to his boyfriend's side, just like Iwa. After the situation was deemed safe enough, paramedics walked into the apartment and checked for the injured, namely Daichi and Iwa, though the latter was fine besides some bruises. They also wanted to take a look at Suga again, but he insisted they cared about the other two first, and assured them that he wasn't part of the fight. Hey, Koshi? Yes? Oikawa kneeled down in front of him and gently reached out his hand to caress his cheek. Are you... I'm fine, Todo. I swear. He nodded slowly. The paramedic from before told us that they would send you home with us because they hope you could relax better at home. And that if that wasn't the case, we should bring you back to the hospital. Do you... I would understand if you wouldn't want to stay. They could bring you somewhere safer. Suga seemed to think about it for a second. I want to stay. Oikawa looked up surprised. It might sound paradox, but I feel even calmer now, safer. Why? He couldn't believe him. How could Ito, being here in their home, have calmed him? Suga chuckled nervously at the surprise, close to shock, on Oikawa's face. I just saw you punch him in the face and pin him down as if it was nothing. I saw him getting arrested. What else should I be afraid of? Even if there would be someone else who wants to hurt me, I know now that you will protect me. I saw it. Oikawa was speechless. Though it was logical, he had a hard time understanding him. To him, he failed his own promise over and over again. Yet Suga talked like he lived up to it. Give yourself some credit as well. We heard the first rescue was only possible because he almost broke his nose. Yeah, I guess. His smile fell. This will take a while to heal, won't it? His eyes were fixated on his hands, and Oikawa could see the sudden tiredness taking over. He was well aware that Suga wasn't talking about his physical wounds. Yes. But we will be here the whole way. You never have to be alone, though you can of course always send us away if you want to. I don't. Then we won't leave. Never. Daichi joined them after the paramedics gave him the okay. Oikawa, Daichi, and Iwaizumi gave their statements about what happened today, and with their support, Suga also made his about everything that happened to him. It wasn't easy, and if he didn't need their presence so much, he would have sent them away to spare them the details. But it was better like this. The police promised to investigate Ito's connection to the previous events and question the criminal that shot Daichi. Another argument sparked when one of them sheepishly explained to Daichi that he was suspended for a few days and would get a call probably tomorrow, which set Iwaizumi off. Daichi tried to stop him, but didn't manage to stop his colleagues from quickly explaining that it was just a formality and that it wouldn't affect him negatively under Iwa's intense. After everyone left, the evidence was secured and they could finally clean the blood from the floor. They finally got the chance to rest. So, we are going to move? Yes, definitely. Yes, no way around it. They answered at the same time and laughed. It was paradox, but after all that happened, they couldn't help it. It was something about the adrenaline and overwhelming relief of having survived all of that. I love you. Thanks for protecting me. Always. Daichi reached for his hand and squeezed it reassuringly. I want a bigger bed. What? When we move, I want a bigger bed. I mean, this one is fine, but bigger to cuddle and all. You just want to build pillow forts. He didn't deny it. God, you're so childish sometimes, Toru. Hey. I want to build a pillow fort. Daichi laughed. How come it took you two so long to get together? You two are so compatible, it's astonishing. I could ask you and Iwa the same thing. At least Koshi and I admitted to being in love with each other, instead of dancing around the topic for months. It was painful to watch. You remember the first time when they finally kissed? I wanted to throw a party right then and there. Yes. The other two blushed like crazy. Shut up. Aw, is Iwa-chan embarrassed? I said shut up. Suga laughed again. Please, never change. None of you. He snuggled closer to Iwa's side and pulled Daichi's arm around his waist, while reaching for Oikawa's hand across Iwa's chest. We love you, Koshi. Never forget that. Iwa hummed in agreement, and Oikawa squeezed his hand reassuringly. Somehow, it was easier now. Easier than when they first came home. Safer.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong.
And that was it for the final part of this series. I'm kinda sad to end it, but I really enjoyed writing this. I really like this series, and as you see, the timeline is definitely not over yet. As you know, if you've been here for a little bit longer, some of my videos are all on the same timeline, and I will probably make a video about them moving and a lot of fluff to make up for everything that happened. If you liked it, consider leaving a like because it really helps my channel grow. And if you want to see more of this and not miss out on anything in the future, consider subscribing. And now, I hope you have a wonderful and amazing day. So, is the next video going to be about us moving? What are you talking about, Trashikawa? Mean Iwa-chan.
Taste all the highs and the lows, no, you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all